All right, so for our next installment of Let's Build a Wally, what do we have here? We have our head chassis. So the base and top, and then you have corresponding ones for the eyes on the side. These two here are for raising and lowering their eyes, and we have here, these are for a bearing race. So what we need to do here is I need to tap a bunch of stuff, and then we can go ahead and start processing the assembly. The upper parts here will probably wait till the main chassis is assembled with servos, gears, and linkages and whatnot, and then we'll go to the next step onto those. All right, let's get started. All right, now we have our parts prepped, tapped, and I went ahead and started to assemble a few of these sub-assemblies here. We'll start with the servo horns. They are screwed together with their servo horn and ready to go with their servo. We have our servo gear. We haven't applied any of the screws yet, just in case I need to clock anything. Our gear here that is driven off of that, there was a couple of holes that needed to be drilled and tapped. I put 2 of them on there in case there is any issues in the future. I have another hole ready to go. Let's see, we have some standoffs that were extended and bonded with set screws, so this all has retaining Loctite. Our turnbuckles have shoulder screws bonded in place. I do have one more coming to bond in place here, and this will do all the driving of the head, pitch, roll, and yaw. We'll just pitch and roll. And then for our chassis, we had these tapped, and then we had these tapped as well. This one went under a little bit of pre-assembly. I wanted to check everything in alignment, and it just aligned so well that I left it in place. So we have a series of spacers and bearings aligning this all together, and it all went together pretty nicely. So what do we do from here? Well, I got to figure that out. We do have to bond these 2 other screws in, and I'm going to start by mounting a few things here and there. I really want to have this part finished before main assembly, and if I can get that done today, we'll continue the process there. Okay, so I got the turnbuckles in place. They are now mounted in the post. A little bit of Loctite. I have the wires separated, so I have 6 going to one side and 6 going to the other. They will wire to a little PCB on each side, providing power and data for each of the movements. So now we can go ahead and put the chassis on, make sure the wire is underneath the turnbuckles on each side. I separated them in 6 wires on each side. The only thing I did was make sure if there was the same color, I put, in this case, blue on one side, blue on the other. That way I don't get them mixed up on the same side. And yeah, so we'll put the chassis on. We'll make sure the wires are coming up through the little wire holes. And then later on, we'll put these onto the PCB that will provide power and data to each side. So let's get started. Some of the things you run into are quality control when it comes to certain screws. So depending on the thickness of the head here on this little rim, it changes even with manufacturer standards. So I had to go in here and just countersink these down a little bit more so that they are flush or just below the surface here. Goes to show you, you could design stuff to be to spec, but the hardware sometimes doesn't come in that way. let's move on. One of the things that I prepped next was I added these standoffs to each of the sides of each eye here. And then I added the spacers too as well on the back side. So these are all tied together. There's a printed part here with a magnet that will receive some of the decorative head parts. And there is a printed cover / gusset shield here. Here's one by itself. And this just simply slides in and just provides some rigidity. So when we put the front piece on, which is one of those, it locks it all together. A couple of heat sets. I think there's a magnet. Yeah, there's a magnet there too as well. So what I'm going to do is I just wanted to test these out. It actually helped me align it just to make sure there wasn't any movement, and then I locked tight those in place. I'm actually going to remove these and put the front pieces on simply for doing the assembly of the servo, some electrical components, running the wiring, and then I'll just put these right back on. All right, guys, many hours later, and we have this sub-assembly pretty close to being ready for testing. We have our servo breakout plugged into that PCB. We have our gearing set up with our linkage and the wire wrap there. These breakouts are done by Greedwave. Thank you, Trevor, for making those and having them available. And the way we got this going is I didn't hook up the back so I can flip these cages over, and that just allows me access to solder in those breakouts and putting the wiring in place so it doesn't get tangled. So if we spin this around, what I want to do next is hook up the swing arm here, which you see I have those in place. And they'll attach in here to a bearing race, which there's another part, and that'll control the eye up and down. And once that's there, we can then put our front of our eyes together, put our shields on, and possibly do some more testing for there. Because at this stage, what I'd want to do is then take our wire loom here and bring that all the way down to a little test area here so we can plug them into a Maestro and get our limits and possibly do some testing from that. All in all, this has come together really nicely. Still a lot of prep work, just like any project, but pretty happy. All right, honestly, I couldn't resist, so I put the shields on in the front of the eyes. I just wanted to see it. You know, if you can't enjoy it, that's what I say. Enjoy it for what it is. All right, let's tilt this up. Super cool. What do you say, buddy? Wally.